Hey, welcome to the Aamar Roundtable. Today is the 12th of April, 2023, and I have a guest. Is it Aamar? Is that how you pronounce
That's
it?
right. Yeah, Aamar is correct.
Okay, from London, who has created an interesting website that we use every day called Financial Juice, and it's a really great website. Especially, we've been trading the market on close, buy, sell, imbalance. Scott Rubel taught us how to use that, and it's this is the first place that I get the data every day. So I use it every day, and today we're looking at the CPI numbers, and it's really great to consolidate all this information. So well done on a great website, and nice to finally meet you, Amar.
I really appreciate the introduction and thank you so much. Yeah, we've worked really hard on this thing. It's been quite a long journey. It's great to kind of have something out there with the intent of leveling the playing field for like the average trader. Just to give you a little bit of background into Financial Juice and why we are here doing what we're doing. I've got some slides, but I'll kind of mix things up with like the platform in the background and walking through some slides if I may. Um, I'm
Absolutely.
just a quick question: is the chat open if anyone wants to ask questions as we're going? Brandon, I see a
Should
question. I see a comment from Brandon. So awesome. So you can hear me, and there is a way for everyone to chat if they need to chat.
Yes.
But I'll just give you a little bit of background, and let me just quickly share the disclaimer. Um, all the yada yadas are there. Past performance is not indicative of future results. We're going to be talking to a news platform. I'm not giving anyone trading advice, so we should be fine on that front. But this is stuff I have to share with you guys. Um, so
Cross the T's and dot the I's, right?
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So with Financial Juice, the big problem that I was trying to solve is I've worked on professional trading floors. I've been around professional traders for a long, long time. And every trading floor that I was on, one of the main things that we had in probably 95% of the places that I visited was either an analyst desk, i.e., a group of guys at the very front of the floor whose job it was to watch the wires and pay attention to all the major news sources. And there was some kind of a tannoy system in most places where they would alert everyone on the floor if a major piece of news had happened or if someone has said something in a particular speech. So they'd be looking at all the major news terminals, the usual suspects, the Bloombergs and the Reuters of the world, BBC, everywhere and anywhere that you can think of. And that was their sole job. And on other trading floors, they had like squawk services where there would be a company they would hire and they would provide that system over a tannoy. And this was ubiquitous. Pretty much every prop shop, every trading floor that I came across in the UK and in the US had something like this. And then when you go into the retail world and the average trader, the person trading from home, which in surprisingly makes up a very significant portion of the trading market in modern times, most people haven't even heard of squawk boxes. They haven't heard of these real-time voice news services, and they trade without this input of fundamental information. And that's one of the big things that I was trying to solve with Financial Juice, is giving everyone access to this information that is kind of, the purview of the professionals, right? They're the ones with access to the $2,300 a month Bloomberg terminal or the Reuters platform, the Icon platform. They have access to that information, and it makes it almost a privileged class. And that's what we wanted to change with Financial Juice, is give everyone access to this exact same information at the speed at which professionals get it, level the playing field. You've seen the last few weeks just how much of a massive driver news events can be to the markets. We're hoping to give everyone the same kind of access that they have. So does that all make sense, Tom, and everyone in the room so far?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that there's been a couple of variables that have limited people's access. The first big one was awareness, people just not knowing squawk boxes exist. The second is cost. just as I mentioned, that some of these terminals that professionals use are just so expensive. And if you want a view of the markets, you're spending, north of $10,000 to $15,000 a month just to get that access. But I mean, if you have that access, it's well worth it. But that's not accessible to most traders. And the other thing is a lack of understanding of fundamentals, a lack of understanding of things like risk on, risk off, understanding of if members of the Fed make certain comments in their speeches, the words that they use, the impact that they have on the market, why that has an impact, sentiment, why shifts in sentiment happen, i.e., certain words that they use 6 months ago resulted in one reaction, and now because of a shift in sentiment and a shift in the environment, they result in something completely different happening. It's that type of thing that we hope with Financial Juice to kind of give people live access to. If I walk you through the platform, the core idea with the platform is to give you the headlines as they happen, as quickly as you would get it from any of the major terminals via voice. And I'll leave the voice on in the background. Hopefully you'll hear the guy squawk every once in a while. But it is, cutting edge market moving information mixed in with like live streams. Like we have live coverage of the Bank of Canada. We had live coverage of CPI when that was happening. So you've got obviously the release and the impact that it had, but we also had a live stream talking about CPI, what we're expecting, what we're looking for, the impact that it could have in the economy, what traders as a whole are paying attention to. So as well as being a platform that provides you with the information, it's also there to give you context and understanding of the fundamentals and why this information is moving the markets. And where our core idea and thesis is to be your friend in the markets and help you understand what's moving it, and what's the key driver for what's taking place in the markets right now. And you guys mentioned that you're using the mock data that we release at the end of the day.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Has that been making a significant difference to your trading?
It definitely helps.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just did a zero DTE workshop. It just ended,
Okay.
but one of my experts, Scott Rubel at Stratagem Trade, he was
Sure.
a market maker at the CBOE, and
Sure.
the way that he uses it is basically in the last print, 10 minutes before the close, if it's over 1.5 billion to maybe 2 billion, if it's that or higher, then he'll start either buying calls or puts, or call spreads or put spreads going into the close. And you'll see anywhere from a 5 to 10, sometimes 15 point move in the last 10 minutes if the number is big enough.
Right. Excellent.
And
it's a piece of data that we're getting that we've got a lot of requests for, and we're kind of in the process right now of rebuilding major aspects of Financial Juice. Like Financial Juice 2.0 is long overdue, but the mock data is going to be something that we pay a lot of attention to, and there'll be specific dedicated sections for that with more visual data and just offering more utility and background information as well.
Yeah, one thing that would be nice to see on that data is the print at 10 minutes before the close versus how much did the market actually move. Just to get some idea of how much movement can you expect based on what kind of numbers.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where I've seen quite a few different use cases of the mock. You'd think it's relatively straightforward information, but people have different use cases. So I'm hoping that we can kind of consolidate those needs and offer like some level of flexibility where you can turn it, have the data available in the way that you want it at the moment that you want it, just in a more automated way. So that's definitely something we want to put together. So,
and then
yeah.
I was going to say, I usually, the way I use it at the moment, I don't have the Pro yet, but I'm thinking about it. And even the delayed, it comes out, I think about 15 seconds, maybe 20 after. And then the website will update about 5 or 6 seconds after that. So I usually listen to it and it comes out just a hair faster. But
Yeah.
the Pro, I imagine, is right on the 10-minute mark.
It's exactly, yeah, it's on the dot. As well, as close as you'd be surprised at the variation in terms of the data coming out. Sometimes you do get a few seconds delay in most data, but yeah, we try to be as quick as we can, and there's some great systems in place. So even if you use the free version, it's a between a 10 to 20 second delay, which is perfectly fine for some traders. But if you're trading in the now, if you're a day trader and you're looking for what's moving the market in that moment, Pro is the way to go.
Yeah, 15, 20 seconds can make a difference.
Exactly. It's a huge difference. It's a massive difference. And it's part of the reason why we've structured the product in the way that we have, is to give everyone access to the information and the content in a relatively timely way. But for the traders that want it in the now and want to make decisions with it, it's an absolute no-brainer for them to go for the Pro version of the platform, because it just gives them that much of an edge if that's the type of information you're trading with.
Oh, that's what I was thinking, with even just that buy, sell, and balance at the close.
Yeah.
$1,000 for a lifetime subscription. How long is it going to take you to make $1,000 with a little edge in trading? A week, a month, in 6 months, it's definitely worth it in the long run.
Exactly. And it keeps things simple in terms of the platform. Like, just to give everyone like an indication, I'm going to share my screen again.
Well, you're still sharing it.
Oh, I'm going to share the PowerPoint.
Oh, a different one. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
this is basically a PowerPoint that I would have run through, but I think today we'll keep things relatively conversational, straightforward. We've looked at the market and what everyone else out there is doing. And this is kind of the relative prices you're going to pay for, say, the Bloomberg, $2,300 a month. New Squawk. There's a couple of other competitors out there. They're aimed at professionals as well. So whilst they charge a lower fee, it's still north of $300 a month. What we wanted to do was offer the same level of service, if not better, but just make it more accessible to traders. And we wanted to offer something that's $99 a month, which is 69% cheaper than the competitors, and that's a good deal in and of itself. But for everyone kind of in attendance today, and Tom and your team, we've got hopefully an even better offer. So if you took one of our competitors for a year, it would cost you $3,840. Where's my little marker pen? There you go. So it costs you $3,840 a year. And if you even went for our service, which is a lot cheaper, it would cost you $1,188 a year. And that's, a great reduction. It's a 69% cheaper than our competitors. But we've got an offer for you guys today of $497 for a year, which is 87% less than our competitors, and it's 58% less than if you were paying for the monthly version of it, and that's a really good deal. But would also like to offer you, if you're interested, an even better deal. So if you looked at our competitors at $320 a month, at a year, it cost you whatever it cost you. What was that? $3,840. But if you got 5 years of this service, we're looking at almost $20,000. If you got 5 years of our service, you're looking at, it's a massive saving, but it's still $5,940. Today, using the link at the bottom, you can get lifetime access for $997. So one single payment, lifetime access. It also comes with a lifetime money back guarantee. So you can ask for your money back anytime if you're not happy with the service. There's no terms and conditions around that. It's literally, if you are not happy with the service, we will give you your money back at any point if you decide that. And it's a ridiculous saving. So it's 95% less than our competitors and 83% less than if you were paying monthly. And if you go to the URL Aamar, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Aamar. It was actually my Dungeons and Dragons character name in high school.
Okay. Okay. That's cool, Nick. So aamar.com/FJ. you will be able to pick up the offer there. And guys, if there's any questions around the platform and the service, that you feel free to ask. We also accept payment via Bitcoin. In fact, I love taking payment via Bitcoin. It's nice to kind of see this new world emerge, and hopefully it becomes a thing. So you're able to do that also. But hopefully it's a no-brainer. 907 for life, lifetime money back guarantee.
I don't think I've ever seen a lifetime money back guarantee. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's just, you know what it is? One, it shows our complete confidence in our product. And two, it also keeps our feet to the fire as well. Because if we're not delivering, people will ask for their money back.
Right.
So it just, it kind of, it keeps the right pressures on us to keep delivering and offering a fast service and, a cheaper service than our competitors, but also a better service than our competitors. And that's our goal, and that's what we've hopefully achieved.
I guess a couple of things. Maybe you could talk about what things you have in mind for Financial Juice 2.0, and
Oh
then
my gosh.
and then maybe how does tick strike fit into it? Because you see like the delayed and the tick strike, and then
Yes.
I had a question earlier that if you get the lifetime deal or monthly or whatever, does that make the delayed undelayed, or is that just for tick strike? Because it was kind of confusing on what's related to what.
What's related to what? So tick strike is a completely separate product. And there is a delayed version of tick strike on the site. It's not delayed, sorry. There is a limited version of tick strike on the site, which is here. And tick strike essentially allows you to convert order flow into sound. It allows you to listen to the flows. Tom, have you used the actual pro software for tick strike?
I have not.
Okay, so I'll turn it on for you guys right now. So hopefully this doesn't confuse things too much, but let's get tick strike whirring. I'm assuming you guys are primarily futures traders. Is that
primarily options traders.
option? Okay.
Although we do have people dabbling in the options world, or in futures world.
Okay. So what tick strike does is it converts the order flow into sound and into a visual representation. So right now I've got the NASDAQ, the S&P, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and the tick Q, which is the tick for the NASDAQ market. So it's stocks making upticks versus downticks in that moment in time. And the way there's multiple ways to use this information and to use tick strike. But what I like to recommend to people is these little squares or rectangles, these meters, place them next to your chart. And essentially what you're looking for is correlation. You're looking for the NASDAQ and the ES to line up, the biggest stocks in those indexes to line up with your hypothesis or direction of the market. And you're looking for these to be lit up red or lit up green and moving together. And that generally gives you momentum behind a move. It's what we found. I'm going to turn it down for a second. Is that for most traders, when they're using order flow information, it's so complex and so fast that it's hard for you to make a decision. And tick strike just basically simplifies that process to hearing the sound, a guide counselor like sound. When it goes nuts, you know something's happening, and the kind of simple visual representation of it. So you kind of.
It kind of reminds me, I was at a seminar one time, and it was being held in the CBOE, and we were doing our training or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear this roar from the floor.
It is.
And it's just the same kind of thing. Yeah.
It is absolutely, it's digital pit noise. That's one of the big ways I've heard people describe it, and I've kind of used it. It's digital pit noise. It's kind of it's an electronic representation of the exact same idea that you just described. And that's what tick strike does. So that the version that you're seeing right now on the screen, this little kind of column, and that's it right now. This is the pro version, so it's a premium product you have to pay for. But the on the website, that is real time. It's just more limited. So on the other version, It goes from level 1 all the way to level 15 in terms of sensitivity. So the one that's on the website, it starts at level 6. So it doesn't give you like the more granular movements, but the bigger movements it will pick up.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the deal with Tick Strike, and obviously we have a real-time calendar here on the left-hand side with Financial Juice.
Yeah, we
With
look
the
at that
real-time
every
headlines.
day.
Yeah. And then the future of the platform is just simplifying a lot of what we already have. So the columns, the headlines, being able to have multiple columns of headlines. So if you want to be able to compare, if you want to have front and center your news, bond news, commodity news, information that you're interested in, you can have multiple streams for that. A more advanced calendar, just to give you more data on what's moving the market, and other things like market sentiment type analysis. So whether we're in a risk on versus a risk off environment, the kind of the information around that, and the mock data. It's just lots of different things to simplify your view of the market and what's taking place in one simple dashboard. That's what we're trying to achieve. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Do you have any plans to filter the news by country?
Yes. So filtration is a big deal. It's a major part of what we're trying to achieve. And we're still in the stage where we're a startup. That's kind of how I view us. So anyone that joins, one of the reasons why we're offering the lifetime offer is because we want to raise capital to be able to do and build the things that we need to build. But currently, I see a question from Bill. What does Pro get you at the moment? So Pro gives you the platform in real time, so there's zero delay. So whatever's happening right there and then, it's zero delay. Also, there's no adverts whatsoever. So right now in the voice squawk, you will typically hear adverts. There'll be no adverts. There'll be no adverts on the screen. You also get access to the news desk. So you get direct access to the team. You can ask them any questions that you might have about a particular trading idea or anything that you're researching. Those are kind of the big variables.
What kind of questions do you see people asking to the news desk?
That's a really good question, because sometimes it's a little insane, and it's kind of like quite quirky questions, but most of it's around expectations of what might be said in a speech that's coming up, or if someone is trying to get an ascertain what the biggest risks are in the week, they might ask about those to the news desk. Just get a conversation about something like the need to know market risk. If there's something they don't particularly understand, they get sort of further explanation from the news desk as well. So there's a bunch of things you can ask. Is there anything else you wanted to ask about, Tom? Or have I clarified the bits you needed?
Yeah, I think you've had a good overview.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations if you click on My News for filtering it? I know when I go there, there's a lot of choices.
There are a lot of choices. What we've been doing over time. So initially, when Financial Juice started, it was an aggregation platform, and it allowed you to essentially follow, lots of other providers. As time has marched on, we've moved away from that more and more, and we've tried to focus our efforts on being, the news platform and providing that. My kind of advice to everyone is if you're a trader looking to make trading decisions, the best thing you can do is just stick with following Financial Juice's headlines, the headlines that we provide. If you need further information around, investments that you're making that are longer term, then it's worth looking at some of the other news providers. But if you're a day trader looking to make decisions in the now, keep things really, really simple and just focus on the Financial Juice-based headlines.
I noticed like the feed selection where there's defaults, Forex, stocks, futures.
Yeah.
Most of us are trading options on SPX. So,
Okay.
like I guess maybe indices or equity indexes might be another choice.
Yeah.
If I click futures, I'm seeing like commodities, energy markets. Well, those don't really apply, but
No, it's a difficult one because the things that affect the futures, like the high level stuff, the macro stuff, they affect everything, and that is what the financial juice feed itself focuses on. So some of the stuff in my news, it's a little legacy. The version 2.0 will remove and improve lots of elements there. But the main feed that we have, what you're seeing right now, this is the big stuff that will have the largest impact on most instruments. So, it's the big macro level view of whatever's moving the market. So FX futures, commodities, they're generally affected by, especially at the moment, the same headlines because we're in a inflation data driven environment.
right, CPI, GDP,
Yeah.
FOMC are all big
All
market
that kind of
movers
stuff.
lately. Yeah,
Exactly. And CPI, because trading news events, it has been my thing for a very, very long time. There was a time with CPI you just never, it was a nothing trade. You
yeah,
never took a look at it.
it was a non-event most of the time,
It
right?
was a non-event for, decades. And now it's basically the event. It's what everyone cares about. It's what everyone pays attention to.
Just trying to see if I have any more questions.
Sure.
I mean, in the concept, it's a fairly simple
It is.
idea, but it's well executed.
I
And
appreciate that. I appreciate that. We've
there's
got big plans.
there's other places that we get information like Econo Day. I think
Yeah.
there was like a Fed speaker today on their site that wasn't on yours, but overall, you guys are pretty spot on. And yeah, the market on close buy sell imbalances are very, very helpful.
No worries. Our ultimate goal with FJ 2.0 is to be the hub for economic information, economic data, for economic calendars, pretty much everything that traders and specifically from a trader's perspective need. That's kind of our goal with the platform, and that's what we're working towards. It's just a huge project, as you can imagine.
Right. Do you have any timeline or roadmap of when that stuff might be rolling out?
So we're kind of hoping to trickle out some of the data-driven stuff within the next couple of months. But the big updates to the platform will be happening later in the year.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm also a developer, so
Okay.
it's like they say when you go on vacation, take half as many clothes and twice as much money as you think you're going to need.
Yes,
Developing software is the same thing. It's going to
it's
cost four times
absolutely.
as much and take four times as long as you think.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it. It's there's some things, and I think part of the problem is the fact that I'm a trader and I have so many ideas and things that I develop to improve my own edge. That I muddy the waters for my developers, and we built Tick Strike and Unusual Activity, and then there's another thing that I'm working on at the moment. So it doesn't help by doing that.
Well, I mean, I trade options and I also program too, and I know what you mean. Where you're building stuff to help you, but other people
Yeah,
can also use it as well. And
absolutely.
once you build something, you get some new ideas of how you can make it better, faster, or whatever, and the juices start flowing, and
100%.
it keeps changing where you want the target to go, and the
Yeah,
developers in the back end is like, oh, stop making all these changes. So,
yeah, absolutely.
um,
Absolutely.
so Brandon has a question.
Yes.
How are you
So
getting
how
the
are we getting
newsfeed
this
so
in,
fast?
and how are you able to compete with the other big? Okay, so Brandon, this is what makes us different. So we're a tech company first and a news provider second. So we focus on the technology around this type of thing, whereas the other squawk providers, they're kind of old analysts that have decided to set up. It's pretty much with most of these squawk providers, but they're not tech companies. So we've been able to find an edge, in especially in the last couple of years or so. Technology has kind of changed the game a little bit. We basically have a fire hose of data and news called Twitter. So Twitter is the fastest news platform that exists. The problem with Twitter is that the data on it is unstructured. And Twitter is faster than Bloomberg, it's faster than Reuters. If there's a headline posted to one of these major platforms, within milliseconds, it's on Twitter. So our core edge has been the analysis of Twitter, and being able to get that information, use it algorithmically sorted in front of our analysts instantaneously for them to make a decision to put it out. And that makes us, in terms of each individual headline, we may not be the fastest. There might be a terminal that's a bit faster than us in one single headline, but in the overall headlines, we become the fastest because we're the best at structuring that data and organizing that information, and organizing that content. So if you compare us to all the different platforms, we will be faster than them on overall. We will work out to be faster than most platforms, just as a totality. I hope that answers your question.
Right.
And definitely faster than the other school providers, just because we're a tech first company.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking at the feed on the left and different countries like South Korea, et cetera. I think a country filter would be really nice to kind of declutter some of the information on the screen.
I believe we already have that. So
Oh, you
if you
do?
want to,
Okay.
yeah. So if you want to,
Does that apply to all, I guess, all the news in the center too, I would suppose?
it doesn't. No, right now it's just focused on the calendar, but that's one of the reasons. That's what part of, as part of the setup with FJ 2.0 is to give that level of customization that traders want, because an FX trader in Europe is looking for something relatively different compared. So we're trying to offer a level of customizability, which is the plan with it.
Let's see.
Juliana's asking, how do you trade reversals using tick strike? Oh, can we have this conversation in another presentation, Tom? Do you think that would make sense? Because then I can go deep into tick strike. It's just I don't want to just touch on a point and not be able to delve deep into it. But tick strike is a whole other presentation. We can really go deep with that, and share screens and have good conversations about it. But the big idea with tick strike is, just as in a nutshell, is that it allows you to listen to the relative rate and the relative size of order flow in real time. It does the analysis for you, and you are there and are able to make decisions. So just a very quick answer, you're looking for correlation. You're looking for the market to kind of line up with your hypothesis of what is about to happen. I.e., if you're looking for a reversal, are the major stocks lining up with the indexes? Or if you're trading FX, are the major FX pairs lining up? Momentum correlation.
We should get you on the calendar to come back and just do a tick strike presentation. That'd be great.
Absolutely. I don't do many of these presentations. We're gearing up now to start putting out a lot more webinar oriented content out there. Just because our the dev side of things has been so all consuming, but we should hopefully have a lot more interesting content for everyone in the future.
Well, I really appreciate you coming, and
no worries.
It's great to get a kind of a look into the future and see, like, tick strike. I'd never seen how you actually use it, just that little widget on the website. So.
Absolutely. That the widget is just there for a taster. Hopefully it leads to you visiting the site and taking a free trial, and playing around with it. And Tom, if you drop me a note, I'll kind of give you a little primer on tick strike, and then we can hopefully arrange another time to go over tick strike. And I don't know if any of you guys have come across our newest product called Unusual Activity.
I've heard it. I didn't actually go there yet. So maybe if you want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I can quickly show you guys. I'm just going to log into it. Here we go. Okay, so here's a window for unusual activity. I'm going to make it a little more active. So save. And do you guys trade stocks at all, or are you trading options on the major
It's
indexes?
it's mostly options on SPX.
Motion. Okay. Um,
So ES futures obviously would be
yes.
appropriate.
Okay. So here's ETF feeds also. Maybe I'll just turn the volume down. So that's the alerts going off right now. So the big idea with this initially was for individual stocks, which I'll also show you. So let's just say we're trading S&P 500 stocks. What the software does is it analyzes pretty much the entire stock market in real time. And it looks for stocks, futures, ETFs, crypto, FX, any instrument that's moving beyond its normal movement. So we have a tool, a analysis method called the unusual activity extreme, which is this number here, which basically looks at price and volume and relative rate of movement. And then we've also got a percentile, i.e., the movement that's taking place right now, what percentile is it in compared to that instrument's normal trading? And this is very much real time, as it's happening type movement. So PYPL is in the 94th percentile for its normal movement. We've got on the ETF side of things, MSOS, that's going a little wild on the indexes. So right now, NQ is trading it's kind of hovering. It's not, ES is just hitting the 97th percentile, 90th percentile. So there's some stuff going on there right now.
Selling off a bit right now.
Selling off a bit. So what this does is it alerts you to whatever, and I've turned the volume off. Normally it's like you're hearing popping sounds. It alerts you. It's about trading with a style that's instrument agnostic. You do not care what instrument you're trading, or you might care, and then you just focus on the indexes. But it was initially put together with an instrument agnostic style. All you care about is where is the volatility? Where is movement taking place right now, so that I can take advantage of it, because volatility for traders is, your opportunity for profit. And that's pretty much what most of my products are geared around. Like Financial Juice is about finding volatility as a result of macro information. Tick Strike is the same thing. It's order flow analysis, but to find volatility, to find movement. And unusual activity essentially allows you to find what is moving right now. Where is the action happening in the stock market, in individual stocks, in the fastest moving ETFs, in futures, in FX, like which is the currency pair at the moment that is showing the compared historically the biggest movements, and that's what this does.
Oh, interesting product.
Yeah, it's a cool little product. The original scope of it was aimed at stocks. It was just to help traders find the stocks that are kind of showing extreme movement, so that you can either look for a reversal if it's like really extreme, or you can trade with that movement if it's a piece of news that's driving the headline, that instrument up. It just allows you to find momentum, find volatility in the markets. So those are our main products. So Financial Juice is the big news product, and there's a great offer for you guys today. And then we've got Tick Strike, which is absolutely amazing as a tool for analyzing order flow and simplifying that information. And then you've got Unusual Activity, which allows you and helps you find the most volatile instrument in that moment. So the other
It's
thing,
a scanning tool, essentially.
it's a scanning, yeah, it is a scanning tool. And just I'll quickly mention this. So I'm going to remove everything except the indexes. One of the biggest problems that we have as traders is that itchy trigger finger, where you can be a great trader, you can be great at analyzing and making decisions, but because you're trading too often and in low probability environments, your edge is reduced, it's diminished, and you're losing money over time, getting caught up in chop. That's what this is great at. It's really, really good at saying, don't trade right now, don't trade right now. Okay, now you trade because the volatility has increased. So it's really good at helping you avoid times of low volatility as a trader.
Although for options trading, you can set up the non-directional trades and you want the low volatility.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
And it can be the opposite as well. So it
yeah.
can be a tool to help
Keep me
you
out of
avoid
these
volatility.
trades until the volatility simmers down. Yeah.
Exactly. So primarily the use case has been for volatility, but the same information can be used to do the exact opposite as well.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. So these are my kind of obsessions of what I spend most of my time working on and developing and putting together for traders. So
Well,
those are.
your work hasn't gone unnoticed. It's really a nice job that you guys put together.
I appreciate that very much. So I'll leave you guys with the offer. If there's any other questions, Tom, feel free to ask. We need to get you set up on the website as well. So one of the things that we do with our partners is allow them to have their content on Financial Juice for
Okay.
users to follow. So, perhaps offline, we can kind of talk about that and get that going for you as well. But there's the offer there for everyone else. Thank you so much for your time today, guys. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll talk again in the future.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Nice to get to know you, and thanks for the peek behind the curtain, so to speak.
No worries. Thanks for your time, everyone. Have a great rest of the trading day.
All right. Thanks. You too. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.